Alright, it's 7, let's go. There we are. Oh wow, it's really dark for some reason. Oh, there we go. I'm just cleaning out one of my resin mixing containers while I wait for people to filter in, see if anybody shows up. Give people a couple seconds. But once I've got this done, I got stuff laid out and ready to go for the most part. Got a couple things that I need to set up before I can pour resin, but I at least pulled out all of my pigments this time instead of just running around my craft room during the stream like I usually do. There's just some packing tape. Yeah, this stuff works well for getting things off of the silicone. In this case, random bits of resin. Oh, let me make that a little bit bigger. There we go. So give me just a second here to clean this out so we can actually use it. And then I'll start pulling out all of the different things we're going to be using today. Because we've got a couple different sets of commission dice we're going to be working on. We've got 2 that I'm going to make. One that I'm still trying to get right because I've just, for some reason, I can't get the color right. And then one that I'm going to do kind of a little bit of an experiment on, just to make sure that I have like the colors and everything right for how the person wants it before I make all of the little pieces that are going to go in it, because it's going to be a little bit more of a complex set. And I want to make sure that I have the base colors and everything right before I make up objects and pour them and then find out that it's not how the person wants it. So, alright, now I actually have a mixing cup, so that's useful. Let me throw that away and I'll show you what we're working on. Alright, so first set, the request is for a set of kind of bone-like dice, those sort of colors, so whites and kind of a little bit of tan maybe, with like a little bit of like cracks of red showing through. So I have 2 different reds I'm going to use, kind of a really dark red, a little bit of this, a little bit of this. They don't want too much red, they just want it to look like there's some like kind of cracks. For the whites, I've got a couple of thoughts. Here's all of my my different colors that I have. So I have pulled out this white and this white, and they're slightly different, which is kind of what I was going for. I'm just debating, like, I feel like with bone, there's almost a little bit of like a brown, like a tan in it. And I'm debating how I want to do that. Do I want to do like a little bit of like this copper maybe mixed with white? I have this interference gold, which is a white, but then it has like a gold shine to it. I could do a little bit of that maybe instead. That might look kind of nice. That might be kind of bone-like. That might be nice. How did that end up in my sleeve? It's a mystery, we'll never know. So I could mix a little bit of like this copper. Could do the gold. My other thought, and I don't know, it might not mix well is my only concern. Where is that? Ah, here it is. Use a little bit of cinnamon. I don't really have a good non-shimmery brown, because I do have a brown that's a little shimmery, but I don't really have a pigment that's not shimmery. But I could use a little bit of cinnamon. I just worry that it's going to be a little bit grainy. I don't know that it would. We can always try that. So those are kind of the 3 options there that I'm debating, to add a little bit of some texture to make it look a little bit more bone-like. I think those are the least sparkly options. There's a little bit of shimmer there, not super sparkly. So those are my thoughts with that. But I do have my red colors figured out, and a couple different, here, I'll put those over so you can just see the colors. A couple different whites that are just slightly different. They look pretty much the same on screen, but one of them's like a little bit more yellow, a little bit warmer than the other, which I think will add some good variation. Oh, or I could do a little bit of this gold. This bronze isn't bad either. Something like that. Either do a little bit of gold or a little bit of bronze or a little bit of brown. So I'm just debating on that. I'm gonna think on that while I talk through the other things that I'm doing. I'm gonna be doing a set of fate dice here, so that's the ones with the pluses and the minuses on them. And that's another commission set. That's gonna be swirls of purple and green. Purple and green? Let me just double check and make sure it's purple and green. I'm pretty sure, but I don't want to get it wrong. Yeah, green and purple. Dark green, dark purple, translucent, with a little bit of a silver shimmer to it. So I have this silver that's kind of a darker silver, but we're just going to use a little bit of it, and I think it'll add a nice little shimmer to it. And then for the green and the purple, I don't actually have a chip of the green that I'm going to be using because it's going to be a mix of a couple of things. I don't have a good just green, so I'm going to be mixing some green, quote unquote. It's more of a teal color and a yellow, which I've got that figured out. And then I'm going to be doing this purple. It's not super dark, but I think with the dark green, it's going to look darker. It'll be a little bit more condensed in the dye. So that's the plan there. That's going to be a set of fate dice. And then moving over here, let me put this away just a second. It might be a little loud putting all this away. Actually, no, I'm gonna leave these out because I actually have something I wanted to talk over. Over here, I have a set. They want like a blue with gold foil and then like some like red sort of like streaks in it of like blood. And I'm going to be doing a test today with a material that I have not used before, that I got from a friend, and that is I'm going to try putting a piece of snakeskin in it. So we're going to try to make the D20 with these colors and a piece of snakeskin, and I'm also going to try making a D10 with a rose in it. This is a set that's going to have a different thing in each die. And I'm just going to make a couple for now with these colors just to make sure that it's how the person wants. I'm still waiting for a couple of things to come in. I went and ordered myself some little glass, like, they're like Christmas ornaments where they're open on one end. Like, what would you call those? They're spheres. I don't know what you would call them. But they're open on one end. I got two different sizes, one of them so that I can make liquid core D20s, because I really want to try doing that. So once those come in, they're supposed to come in tomorrow, we're going to try making liquid core D20s. I really want to do, if you've ever watched Resin stuff, if you've ever seen like those shaker charms that people make, where they have like glitter and like little resin pieces and that sort of stuff in them, I want to try doing that, like making a set of very like cute dice and then the D20 kind of basing it on like one of those shaker charms where it has all the different little things in it that you can shake it around. I feel like that'd be really fun, so I want to do that once those come in. But I also ordered some slightly smaller ones than the ones for the D20, because if you ever look at a set of dice, some of them are definitely bigger than others. I'm upset. These are all my unpolished ones, so keep that in mind when you're looking at these. I'll grab this set out. This set should be available February 5th, if anyone's interested. I haven't sanded it yet. So I was figuring this out the other day, because you have, that's kind of the least wide portion of the D20. But if you go to like the D6, it's definitely not as tall, so you'd need something smaller. My thought is I want to do a little one of those round ones. Usually you cap off the end with some like UV resin so that you can't tell where it is. I want to make it look like it's a little potion bottle with like a little cork in it. I'm gonna try putting that in D10. That's something I want to try for the blue and red set. But yeah, so I'm waiting on that. I want to get these done just so I can get approval from the person that ordered them. And then the last piece that I plan on working on tonight, I'm still working on getting 2 of the bee dice correct. I've been working on a set of bee-themed dice for quite a while now. Every die is different. The D20 has an actual bee in it. The 2D10 have flowers in them. I made some like resin honeycomb and stuff to put in them, that sort of stuff. And I have designs for the D6 and the D4, and I can show them to you. The problem is that I've made the same error twice, and I'm not quite sure how to fix it. My issue is that the colors that I'm using are wrong. So here's an example. This one actually looks pretty good, but I'll tell you what the issue is in just a moment. So here's one that I made. It has a little bee in there. The problem is it's just too dark. It matches the color of the D8, and I want it to be different enough that they don't look exactly the same. Also, I feel like it's dark enough that it makes the bee kind of hard to see in there. A little hard to see. So I want to make that a lighter color, and that's been really difficult. Just because this is kind of like a brown orange color, and it's hard to make like a lighter translucent brown, to be quite honest. I tried doing it again and I made the color even worse. It's even more brown, not quite as honey colored. I want like a lighter honey color. And then on the D4 I'm going to be doing just a dirty pour, which is just where you put all of the colors into the cup at the same time, and then you pour that into the mold. And I actually do like this first one. I think it turned out pretty. It has some pretty like shimmer in there and that sort of stuff too. The only issue with this is that the one of the colors here, it's just too red. It's not really a good like honey, or I was again going for like a honey color, and it's a little too red. And I did the exact same thing the next time. This one doesn't even look as cool, and it's still way too red. And again, I think part of that is just because of what that color is. I can show you an example here. So I made, like I said, I made some resin honeycomb for this project. And as you can see that it's a honey color. It's kind of orangish. It's very orange, a little bit kind of orangish brown. It looks like honey. Let me show you this color as a dye. I think I have a D8 too, but here's a D4. So this definitely looks kind of orange. It looks very honey colored. And then if you have it as a dye, it's just very like orange or red. It looks so much less like honey. And it does actually look like honey. Like if you've ever seen actual honey, like, you know, it does look like that. It is probably darker than you would think it is, because it is kind of that color, but it just doesn't look right. Even if it is correct, it doesn't look right for this scenario. So I'm trying to figure out a way to make like a lighter honey color. And I think maybe I just need to go, that's in my ones I need to put in the tumbler to polish. I think maybe I need to go a little bit more yellow. That's my conundrum, because I need to make it translucent, but I need to make it honey colored. What's this one? So I could go a little bit more with so the way that I made this honey color is I used this orange with like a drop of this purple, because it muted this up a little bit. It made it a little bit more red, just because they both orange and purple have red in them. But also the blue, this and the purple muted it, made it a little bit more muted, so it went a little bit more brown. So I went a little bit more red brown with the purple, the orange and the purple together. So, to make a lighter honey color, so we want kind of a muted orange color for honey. I guess honey's kind of a muted orange color a little bit. So there's a few different ways we could go about this. We could always go for like a yellow mixed with something, maybe a purple, a little bit of pink or something. Oh, I hear my cat. Oops, wait, did I turn off the, just let me check something. I need to, make sure I have this turned off because that's not gonna work. I have to turn that off. Okay. Sorry, I'm turning off the cat cam option because I'm gonna be working with resin, so I can't really have the cats in here, unfortunately. What I was saying though, like we might let him come in just so you guys can see the kitty cat, because you know that's why people show up, right? It's for the kitty cat. I can hear him out there still. But to get a good muted orange color, I could start with like a lighter orange maybe, and make that a little bit, like mix that with a little bit of like purple or something. Or I could start with like a yellow and mix it with like a little bit of purple maybe. This is my conundrum. This is my conundrum. So I think we might end up just doing some different mixing of things to see what we can do. I might pull out some of these different colors and we might just mix a whole bunch of them and see what happens. See if we can get one that's going to be the correct color. That's that might be what we end up doing. So let me grab, I actually have most of these colors here because I'm going to be using them in other things. I am planning on using this yellow already with a little bit of white to make kind of the that kind of beeswax color. And then I have this yellow because I'm going to be using it in the green. Here's the orange. Try that out. Grab this orange. This is the orange that I said I used before for this sort of honey color. So that's just orange and a little bit of this purple here. And we have that purple out already because I'm going to be doing the purple and green set. I could, this might look a little weird, but I don't know. I don't know, what do you guys think? So there's this orange that has some texture to it. And the reason, oops, there we go. The reason that it has some texture to it is because this colorant is actually ground up chili peppers. I have two different kinds of ground up chili peppers that I've tried in resin. Where's my other one? Where's my other ground up chili peppers? I used to have these all on a chain, so that, here it is. Yeah, I have two different ground up chili peppers that I have done. That one looks almost black, but it's really just like a dark red. This one actually can make some pretty things. This with gold foil is really pretty. It's just like very like fire and brimstone. So I could do, sorry, let me leave these out so that I remember to use them. I'll just use that rose possibly to mute things up a little bit, make things a little bit red. No, probably not. But I could try, do I still have some of this chili pepper around? I have this chili pepper around, I know. Let me see if I have any of this chili pepper, because that might be an option. It's a weird one for sure. It's definitely a weird option. I might not have any of that around anymore. I have the darker chili pepper, but I don't have the lighter one. I think I just borrowed a little bit from my brother, because I got the chili pepper from my brother because he's the one that does the cooking. Yeah, I don't think I have the lighter chili pepper here. I wonder what happened to that. While I'm over here though, I think I will pull down some cinnamon. We might use that over here. I don't know yet. Still thinking on that, on these colors as well. I don't think we're gonna go with chili pepper. Let's put that away. I do want, I think it would make it hard to see because it has bits in it. So I think we've got our choices kind of figured out here. Let's talk about those. So, that has resin in it. Oh well. And stick it to my finger. Okay. So, I think we've got these pretty much pulled out, and we'll try all of those different colors. Try mixing those up and see what happens. Back to the bone colors. I have my two different whites. And then I want to figure out a good tan. So, figure out a good tan. I'm tempted to do the gold. Let me look up the reference image that was sent to me. I don't know if I can show you guys or not. I think it's a Magic the Gathering card, so I don't know if I'm allowed to show those on stream. But let me find that for my reference and see if maybe a little bit of gold might be nice, actually. Okay, is it this one? Yes. You know, a little bit of gold might actually be nice for that kind of bone look. I think I'm gonna go with this, which is, it's like a white, but it has kind of a gold shimmer to it. I think that might look nice. I think that might look nice. So let's go with that. Let's go with that. Let me plug my phone back in. All right. Put this away. I'm not going to use the cinnamon. All right. I should just have that over here. My workspace is a little bit of a mess at the moment. I'm grabbing my stool so I can reach my shelves back here. Is that one? There it is. There's our interference gold. So we're gonna have our two whites and our interference gold. That's gonna add kind of a little bit of a gold shimmer, kind of a tan, and that should be good. Let me grab this away. Let me start grabbing all of the other stuff that we're gonna need. Before we actually put all of our stuff in our cups and pour our resin, there's something I need to do for the bee dice. And this is honestly kind of fun. At least I find it kind of fun. And it's how, in like this die over here, I ended up with a bee in that corner and a bee in that corner across from it. I only have two in there. Whoa. Oh, thanks for following. BRZ Slinger, hello. And that is, I'm going to take a couple of these. I could probably put more in there. The reason that I did two and across from each other is I try to make my dice as weighted as well as possible. And these are metal. So I don't want to put them just on one side or have two on one side and one on the other. I want them to be as opposite each other as possible so that hopefully the dice will still be evenly weighted for all the sides. So what I'm going to do for this, I have my bright pink silicone mat here, which is a little dirty, but first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cover both of these in just a little bit. Let me grab my, let me pull this out now before I forget. This is just a little UV light like you might use for nail art, that sort of stuff. In this case, I'm going to be using it to harden this UV resin that I have the majority of my dice is made with 2-part resin, but this UV resin is good for little things like this, where I want to cure it quickly. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm gonna put a little bit of resin on these, and that's partially so that they don't, hopefully, end up right against the side and then end up scratched and stuff. Use my tweezers here. Well, actually, pull out my UV resin tools here, which is a sewing pin. I'm just gonna put a little bit on all the wings here. I just want it to be protected, and I feel like this probably isn't necessary at all. I just want to make sure that my embeds are protected. I'm not gonna have any like air bubbles trapped or anything there. So I'm gonna start off with that and blast them for a second. I think this does about 30 seconds if I remember correctly. I usually put it under here for twice for like about a minute. I probably should have done the other part at the same time. Well, that's okay. I'll do that in a moment. And I'm just gonna let that cure just to protect those a little bit once they're actually in the die. And then the other thing I'm gonna do, and you'll see that in just a moment once this turns off, is I'm gonna attach them together so that they stay on opposite sides. And it's really not as difficult as you might think, or maybe you think it's easy. It's really not too bad. I did chains that were floating in a set of dice with the same sort of thing. I don't know that those were weighted properly, but it was what the person wanted, and they looked really cool. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to make this little tiny bar of UV resin. So there's just a little line there. I think that's probably long enough. Maybe not. Just a second here. What do you think about this? I'm trying to go from there to there. I'll just extend it out a little tiny bit. I can always make this shorter if I need to. I can break it. There's my cat again. Now let's get that bubble out of there too. My cats get very sad if I'm in a room that they're not in. You can hear them out there being sad. Speaking of cats, let me get this cat hair out of here too. I'll bring him in to say hi in just a minute, but we're gonna get this resin out of the way first so that he's not hopping into it, because that wouldn't be good. And I think this resin can give off a little bit of fumes, but I'm curing it so quickly that I'm not super worried about it. Once we get to the 2-part resin, I'll be wearing a mask just for safety reasons. He's so mad. He's so sad that he's not in here. It is very sweet. My cats... I know! I know! All of my cats are very sweet and they all want to hang out with me. And it's a problem when I'm in here because they're not usually allowed in here. If I'm just like sanding dice or something in here, I'll let like not in, but letting Luna in is just always, it's always she causes so many problems. She always wants to lay on top of whatever I'm working on, or knock things off of the table, which is like the two things that I do not need happening in here. Whereas Not will just like sleep on my lap or at the chair at the table behind me. But I'll bring Fitz in. Just I have 4 cats, by the way, just as a side note. But Fitz, who's the one that's yelling out there, I'll bring him in just a minute. If he's still out there. I wonder if he's left. He's not screaming anymore, so it's possible he's left. Or it's possible he's just laying on the, like, laundry hamper out there. Alright, I'm gonna bake that one more time. Better safe than sorry. Shouldn't be a big issue, but might as well. I'll show you what we're doing here. I might actually cut down this resin a little bit. I ended up with a little bit, maybe too much around the bees, but I kind of noticed that when I was putting it on there. It's really hard to put a small amount of resin. Oh, nope, he's still out there. Well, here. That's already cured, so while I'm waiting for that to go again, I'll come bring the cat in. Okay, buddy. Come here. What's up? Come here. Come on in. Hello, sir. Yes, please. Please enter. No, come here. Come here. Come on. No? You want me to follow you? I'm not following you. Okay, I'm closing the door. Buddy, you can either come in and say hi. Alright. He just wants the door to be open, I guess, because he doesn't actually want to come in and hang out. He just wants to yell outside of the door, which is a very cat thing to do, I feel like. If you've had cats. To be fair, he usually... They're so vocal. Silver and Fantasy Designs, welcome! Yes. Do you mean cats in general are so vocal, or my cats are so vocal? Because, yes, they like to scream outside the door so much. Hello! Oh, now he's scratching at the door. I think that's him. Oh. Oh, you're hosting. That's so nice. Thanks. Alright. So back to actually doing this with the resin. This might actually be a little bit too long now, but that's okay. If it is, I'll cut it down a little bit. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to attach this bee to this little bar that I made out of resin. Well, while I'm doing that, how are you both tonight? Both Pasts and Silver and Fantasy Designs? I guess I don't actually know if it's night for you guys. It's evening for me. But I don't know what time it is for you guys. So let me set this down. I'm just going to hold this here. This is the nice thing about UV resin, is that I can make 3D designs. Just finishing up work stuff. Get that. It'll be nice once you're done, though. Do you do art stuff for work, or? I see designs in your name, so I feel like you must do some sort of creative something. Ooh, got clay tools. Can't wait to start sculpting. That's cool. What kind of clay do you use? Do you do like ceramic or polymer, or? I feel like, are you the one that was doing all the clay stuff with the fantasy weapons and stuff, or was that someone else? 7:30. Oh, we're in the same time zone. It's 7:30 for me too. Silver Blue Dragon. Oh! Oh, okay. Okay. Oil-based Chevron. Oh, I have no idea what that even is. Sounds fancy. Oh, full-time job in the film industry, but you do stream resin stuff. Oh, okay. Okay, cool. I feel like you've been here before. Have you been here before? I feel like I recognize this name, Silver Blue Dragon. Oh, I guess if you work in the film industry, it makes sense that you're in the same time zone as me. If you're over in like LA or something, same time zone. I've been debating if I want to try and pursue that route. I'm still figuring out what I want to do with my life, which is, does anybody really know? If I want to go towards like, try and pursue like voice acting, or I am thinking that I might start trying to do YouTube videos for arts and crafts stuff and other stuff. You live in LA? Oh, okay. Yeah, I feel like you've been here before, so well, that works out. But I don't know. There's so many things I want to do. I've been telling my brother who lives with me. I'm like, there's so many things. I'm like, Twitch, yeah, that's fun. Do I want to do YouTube videos? No, I started streaming. When did I start streaming? Not too long ago. Because I only started making dice in June or July, I think. And I started streaming a little bit after that. I started streaming, I think, a little bit before Halloween. Because I streamed on Halloween. I remember that. Okay, let's see how this is. Yeah, it's a little bit too long, which is kind of what I expected, but that's fine. I can fix that pretty easily. I'm just gonna break that off and cut it down for a little tiny bit, just a little tiny bit. Yeah, probably. I think so. I recognize your old name. It sounds very familiar to me at the very least. It would be fun to do run fair stuff. Oh, I get you. I get you. I'm very bad at lurking. I always feel like if I'm gonna like watch a stream, I'm like, I feel like I need to talk. Okay, just a second. Let's see if this is a little bit smaller. I might have just made this the same size by adding more resin, cutting it down and then adding more resin, but hopefully I made that a little tiny bit smaller. No, that's I'm always happy when people come in and lurk on videos. It's like, oh, there's like 5 people just hanging out. But what's you've been busy with like work stuff, or you've been working on lots of stuff, chatters and stream, but lurking helps too. Yeah, exactly. I like chatting with people, but also it's just like cool. People just want to like hang. It's like have you ever had like a friend where you can like hang out in the same room and work on your own separate things while it's just lurks. Hi Jen. But you have like a friend where you can just like hang out in the same room and work on your own separate projects, or like both read books or something at the same time in like silence. Like that's always just kind of nice, just like hanging out with someone but like not even interacting with them. Like I feel like it's just chilling. Like there's something nice about that. Yes, lots of work stuff. Well, I mean, good to have work, but hopefully you're not stressing out too much. Maybe I should learn to lurk more, because I don't watch a lot of streams just because I feel like it takes more. Yep, that's still a little bit too long. I did make it a little bit smaller, but still a little bit too long. You've had a day? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Wait, here. I'll make you feel better. There. That'll make you feel better. That is the bonk of feeling better. But I am glad you could still make it, even if you're having a day. Like capital letters, a day. Okay, I'm gonna make this a little bit shorter. You'd make more character designs though. Ooh. That's always fun. You always make really cool character designs. Alright. I just cut it down a little tiny bit because it's just barely. Can you post them? Yeah, sure. Go for it. Thanks for asking. I do always appreciate that. But links are cool in the chat as long as people ask first and I know what it's gonna be. Oh, good luck with your emails. Glad you could hang out though. Alright. Hopefully, I think that'll be closer to the right size. I need to figure out how to set up commands. Wait, is that a thing I can do? Just a moment here. Let me set up the exclamation mark lurk thing. I don't know how that works, but we're gonna figure it out. There we go. That you made it work on your own. That works out. I am gonna set that up though. Okay, here I have to click on both these links and see. Ooh, I like the blue. Ooh, I like the, you're really good with colors, you know that, Jen? Like, I love how you do colors and stuff. Like, the like, pink in here, how it gets a little darker at the bottom with, yeah, with like the gold, and then, yeah, that's nice. And then I like this blue, and I like how it looks like it's, like, quilted. Like, maybe not necessarily quilted. I don't know if that's the right word. You like the color and the glitter. Yeah, the blue one, I like the, yeah, it looks like it's like, it has like the detailing stuff, which is really cool. Okay, sorry, just like, I'm gonna try and set up, oh, I've been so sniffy. It's so cold in here. Excuse me, me and my sniffy nose. Being gross with my sniffy nose. Let's see, commands. Let's figure out, command, template, lurk. Oh, let's see, what is, I think, let's try this. Let me try that, because I don't think this should do anything. Let me see, I'm just gonna see if this works. Wait. No, that's not right. Oops. I was trying to say disappears. Disappears, not disasters into the shadows. That's fitting, though, for my name. There we go. There we go. Now it says disappears instead of disasters into the shadows. Okay. Should I leave it as disasters into the shadows? That seems fitting somehow. Alright, there we go. I'm back from the shadows. I'm back from disastering over in the shadows. Let's see if this is the correct size now. That seems to be about the right size. So what I was trying to do is I want these to be across from each other in here. The two B's, I want them to be in separate corners. Never wants to focus when I want it to. There we go. I want them to be in opposite corners, so I have one kind of up in the corner here and one down in the corner. But I don't want them to be too, I don't want them to press the sides, get up against the sides too much, because what will happen is, you see here, the little bee butt, let's see if I can show it. No, again, never wants to focus. You can still kind of see there with the light. There you go. See, it sticks out a little bit because it's just pressing against the side a little bit too much. I'd like to avoid that, but I also want them to be as close to the corners as possible so that hopefully this die is as balanced as possible. Because since they're opposite each other, there's still going to be the same amount of weight, hopefully, on each face. Alright, so we've got that all set up. Let me put this away. I think that's all of the UV resin that I actually need. Let me just double check. Yeah, that should be all of the UV resin that I need. I do have a couple of other little things to pull out and set up. One of them is, oh, here, we'll put this away since we're done with the UV resin. Here, I'll plug my phone back in. I'm just using the same cord for my thing for the UV resin and the my phone. So for the blue and red dice, I wanted a rose. So do I want, which kind of rose do I want? It's gonna be going in a D10. Let's see what I've got in here. These are more open roses, and then I also have some rose buds that we could look at. I have some more like pink ones. I have some more red ones. And I want to go, I think, more red, just because the color scheme for this is going to be a blue, a red, and a gold. And I want to kind of match that color scheme throughout all of the dice, even if they aren't, even if it isn't achieved with the same exact things. So maybe have the rose in place of the red, that sort of thing. So let's see what we've got here, and we'll, I think, maybe use one of these. I think these are the most red. Even the rose buds that are red are kind of pinkish. These are kind of pinkish too, but let's see what we got. Put the scissors away. Here, this one might be good. That one might be good. I want something that's gonna take up some space in the D10, but not be too big. And I want something that's a little bit more red. There's, rosebud here. Let's try this one though. I think that'll take up a good amount of space in the D10 while still leaving a little bit of space around it, so that I can actually have some of the dark blue and the clear resin, and you can see the gold and everything. All right, let me put these away. I've got that, and then the other piece that I need to pull out for that is I need a piece of snakeskin. And that's gonna go in the D20. And I haven't worked with this before, so it's gonna be different. I might put gloves on actually. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like that's just safe. I don't know if snake skins can carry diseases or anything. And this will keep me from touching it and then rubbing my eyes, hopefully, because that's something that I would do without thinking. So let's just, hello! How are you doing, bosun? Oh, that reminds me. Okay, this, if you guys don't like, it's good. I'm so glad. If you guys don't like somewhat macabre things, look away for a minute. But for the same one, so the snake skin and the rose and that sort of stuff, I also wanted some little tiny bones. And can they have E. coli? That's why I'm wearing gloves. That's why I'm wearing gloves, because I don't know. I figured it was better safe than sorry, so I'm gonna lethal bones. Yes, but so I had a random. So as I told my friends this, and they're like, Liz, you're the only person that would just have this sitting around. I had a random owl pellet sitting around my house. I think my dad probably gave it to me a long while back. And so the other night, I just went through and I was digging through this owl pellet and just pulling out little bones, that sort of stuff. But the coolest thing, and this is not going in a die, I'm keeping this, is I found a full, and I think it's probably a rat skull. That's the bottom jaw. It came apart because it's not connected, but I found like a full intact like rat skull, guys. Hopefully this isn't like against terms and conditions of Twitch or something, but like, it's just so cool. I'm gonna figure out, I think, maybe some way to like reattach the, hi Westward Dean, Westward 9, there we go. Like, I was like, oh man, I was so excited, because usually you find little pieces of bones and little broken things. There's some little like broken skulls and stuff in here. There's actually quite a bit of the owl pellet left. I went through this for quite a while. It'll focus. Maybe it'll focus. There we go. There's a pile of bones. But yeah, and you can see there that the skull has a crack in it and is collapsed a little bit. But I want to try and reassemble this and like maybe frame it or something, because I'm like, that's so cool. But no, I do also have some. I did have a random owl pellet sitting around my house, so now I have bones and all sorts of little rib bones and stuff from small rodents and things. There's some just little tiny bones. This is also for the same set of dice with the snake skin, but I'm just gonna try this out. But no, sorry, I was so excited about the full skull that I found. Okay, you guys can look back now if you're squeamish of bones. Alright, so let's see here. I haven't worked with snakeskin before. I got this from a friend who has some snakes. I do like snakes. Let's just cut a piece out of the middle here. Well, we're just gonna use my scissors that I use for everything. I don't know what kind of snake they have. I'm not sure. It's already kind of falling apart here, so let's just cut off a piece. I'm just gonna cut off a little piece and we'll put the rest back in the bag while we figure out how we want to cut this. My 3rd grade classroom growing up had a corn snake, so maybe it's because of that I've always kind of liked snakes. And I don't know, I just think they're cool. They're just kind of different from a lot of other things. And there's definitely ones that are dangerous. Like we have rattlesnakes around here, which you don't wanna like end up near a rattlesnake. They don't like you. I mean, most snakes are just like more scared of you than you are of them. But still, you know, be careful. This is really cool though. Like, look at the texture in that. There's kind of a cool texture to it. It never likes to focus. There we go. It reminds me of bubble wrap, to be honest. Like, rattlesnakes are nice. They warn you. That is true. That is true. You do have an early warning system with rattlesnakes. Like, they don't want to hang out with you, and they will let you know that before they do anything about it, which is very good of them. I'm wondering how much I want to put in the dye. Like, maybe just like that, probably. That might be a little bit too much, even. I don't know if I want enough that it kind of crunches up a little bit, and I have kind of, yeah, I think I want it to crunch up a little bit, so I'm gonna do that piece, I think. There's other, like, because look at the bottom of the snake too. Like, even that's just kind of a cool texture to it. It's just so interesting. All right, I'm excited to mess around with this as a material. I've definitely seen some cool dice with snakeskin in them too. I don't want to crush that too much, but I have all sorts of new treats to mess around with now that I have all sorts of bones and some rattlesnake skin. So we're gonna try that out today though and see how that works. Okay, so we've got that. We've got our rows for that. We've got that. We've got our bees all set up. Get those off to the side. And we've got our other colors for our other things that we're going to be doing. I think, let me get all of my mixing cups ready and then we'll be good to go. Alright, oops. So, let's see here. So we're going to be doing, there's no rush, but before you forget, I suppose. Alright, so I'm going to try a whole bunch of different, no, you want to, no, that's fair, that's fair. I'm going to be trying to do a honey color a whole bunch of different ways. I don't know how many of you were here earlier, but I've made the same mistake twice now with a set of dice. I'm trying to get a good honey color, but I want one that's lighter than this. This is just a little bit too dark, so I'm trying to figure out how to make a lighter sort of honey color, because like this, when you have it, a whole bunch of it together, like it looks very honey-like by itself, and then you put a whole bunch of it together, it's the same as this, and it just gets very dark. So I want something that's a little bit lighter, so you can see the bees a little bit better, and so that it's a little bit different from the D8, which is pretty much this color. So the way I did like this color is the orange and a little bit of purple, to kind of make it a little bit more brown. It's kind of reddish. but I'm not sure how to do that lighter. So I'm gonna try a few different color combos and see if I can figure that out. So we're gonna try all of these different oranges and yellows with a little bit of the purple, and I think I'm gonna do like try this again, the orange, but with like even less. So like just a little bit of the orange and a little bit of the purple. And let's find one more. That works. And we're gonna try just a little bit of all of those and see which one ends up looking the most honey-like. And then for that same set of dice, and I have my orange colors here. I'm gonna do a D4, and I do like this one, but I mentioned before it's just a little too red. I wanted a little bit more honey colored, a little less red, but I do like that dark shimmery gold color and the waxy color on top. So I do have those here. So that's going to be this with a little bit of white and then a couple of different gold colors. So let's grab those out. Let's grab a couple of cups here. That looks like it had some sort of gold in it before, so that works out. And then this one, actually this one looks like it had a honey color in it. Not a honey color, a beeswax color in it before, so let's just use this one again. It has some little things of resin in here, but that's honestly, it's going to be opaque enough that it really isn't going to be super visible. So we'll use that one there, and we'll use this one over here. Then, so that's going to be all of the colors that I need for my 2B dice, because I have my D6, my D4 that I'm trying to do, and that should be, and I'll use the extra honey color. I'm gonna do another one. We're gonna be doing one of the honey colors like what I have before, the darker honey color. So I'm gonna set this over here, and we'll do that as well for this. Okay, for the blue and the red. Let me think about this. Yeah, we're gonna do the blue with the gold foil in it, and then actually the red is going to be clear, and then I'm just gonna take a little bit of this, a little tiny bit, and we're just gonna kind of swirl it through with one of the with a little toothpick type of thing. So there's the one for the blue, and we'll add the gold foil to that, and then this one's actually going to be clear with a little bit of red. So that's fine. We'll do that with a little bit of red. Put the toothpick there so I can remember. For the fate dice, they're going to be purple and green. So I have purple and green. That has, I have a green one here. There's one for green, and both of those are going to have a little bit of silver in them because I want them to shimmer just ever so slightly. And that one will look for purple. And then for my bone colored dice, I'm going to have, oops. Oh, here's a question. Do I want to do this white as a resin or just as the pigment? I think I'm just going to do it as the pigment. It'll add some like kind of lines in it, which I think might be nice. So that's this, and I've found that with dirty pours and the like, if I'm going to do something as just a pigment on top, like I drop like a little bit of the ink on top, it doesn't work well with these because I'm pretty sure these are water-based, and water makes it so that resin doesn't cure. So in the small amounts, when it's all mixed together, it works fine, but if I drop it on top, it doesn't cure properly. So if you're gonna just drop a drop of ink on top and then pour it into the mold, it needs to be one of the alcohol inks, which is what this is. So this one we will set up as a color. This is white. Let me grab a clean cut for it. So that one's going to be white. This one is just going to be dropped on top as an ink. So it's not actually going to be mixed with any resin. It's just going to be put on top before we pour everything into the mold. And then we're gonna have a little bit of red. Oh, why is my phone buzzing? And a little bit of this dark muted red. Because I want these to look like they have kind of cracks of blood in them. Kind of a blood red. And so this little bit of kind of, it's like a maroon color. It's kind of a dark reddish brown. It very much looks like dried blood. But it paired with this bright red, I think will be nice. So we're gonna do that, and that will be the colors for this, along with a little bit of this white that shimmers a little bit gold, and so that's gonna be there. Let me think. I think that is everything. So let's add things to our cups. Let me start with the fate dice over here. Why is my phone buzzing? Who's texting me? Oh, my grandma's texting me. What is my grandma texting me? I'll check it because it's my grandma. Actually, it might be my dad. Oh, no, actually my dad texted. He texted a picture of their cat, and I'll show you. Sitting in front of the fire. Isn't that cute? Look at the kitty cat sitting in front of the fire. A very important picture, so I had to show you. He absolutely loves sitting. I know. That is actually, that was my cat. That's Scamper. I picked him out. I have a habit of picking out cats that are a little bit derpy. He's my ADHD solidarity cat, I guess. Because he does not have an attention span. But he absolutely loves sitting in front of the fireplace there. He like sits on the chair when the fire's going. And it's very, very cute. But no, I picked him out. Stretch! That's a good plan, actually. I'm gonna stand up and stretch while I talk about cats. Because I picked Scamper out. Everyone else should stretch too if you've been sitting there for a while. It's a good idea just to stand up for a little bit, do some jumping jacks. I'm not going to do jumping jacks. I do have a tendency to stand in my kitchen while I'm waiting for water to boil and just kind of jump, or just kind of jump from foot to foot. There's a look into my everyday life. Just standing in my kitchen and hopping around while I wait for my tea water to boil. But the cat, I picked out Scamper, and then my dad kind of picked out, well, I named Scamper, and my dad named his brother Soot, and Scamper was kind of my cat. And then I moved out of my parents' house and I moved to an apartment, and I mean, I could have had a cat there. It just was easier for them to keep the cats. And to be fair, they live in town, so I can see these cats. Like, it's not a terrible thing that, like, he lives across town. But, yeah, I have a habit of picking cats that... His name is Scamper because as a kitten, he had 2 modes, and that was either asleep or running. Like, that cat had so much energy. I always pick the cats with so much energy. But, I don't know, it's very cute. He likes to sleep by the fire. Alright, there's our 2 ones with just a little bit of this silver. We just wanted to have a little bit of a shimmer, but we want them to look mostly the green and the purple. So we have those ready to go. Here is going to be mostly the whites and just a little bit of the red. So I'm just going to add a little tiny bit of this red. And this is actually, it's kind of funny. I made soap before I did resin stuff. Cold process soap. I might have to do that at some point. That will lead me to another topic in just a moment. But so I have a whole bunch of like soap pigments and stuff. And it's kind of funny because I can use pretty much all of my soap pigments in resin because they're all powders, like this one. This is actually a soap pigment. It's from a soap soap company. They make different things for soap making. So this is gonna have just a little bit. Because let's see. So a full set of dice is about 30 milliliters of resin. And we want the majority of it to be these two. Like a majority. So like between these two, maybe 5 milliliters. So maybe 2.5 of each, which is up to the first line there. At the most, we'll have 2.5 of each. So maybe a touch more, but really I don't need a lot. I just want it to be colored. I don't want it to be have so much pigment that it ends up, oops. Yeah, that's plenty of pigment, and then there's a little bit here that'll pick up and put in there. But no, this is a soap pigment that I got. I need a good like bright, opaque red pigment. I have a couple of good red pigments now, like this one, but I need a good like opaque one. So there's that. Set that off to the side. The inks, the pigments here, we will add after I have the resin poured in. It's just easier. But all these dry ones I'll add now. Here is the white and gold. Let's add a little bit of this one. There we go. And it's going to be mainly the white color, and then I'll have some of this in there, some of this in there, and some of these. So I don't need a ton of this one either. I'll have a little bit more of this than I will the red. So I'll probably have, I don't know, maybe 5 milliliters of this one. So 5, 10, and then this will be about 20 probably. So about 20 milliliters of this, 5 of this, 2.5, 2.5. That'll get us up to our 30. So I'm gonna have 5 milliliters. It doesn't really take a lot of this, but that should be plenty right there. If I need more, I can always add more while I'm going. So there's that. I have all of my colors now for these. Set these off to the side. Okay, now for these gold ones. This is going to be for the Honey D4. So I'm going to be doing a dirty pour, which is what I'm going to be doing with all the reds. Well, we can't really see them behind me, but all the red ones, I'm going to be mixing them all up separately, and then pouring them into the same cup, and then pouring that cup into the mold. And it does all sorts of fun swirls and stuff. Here, I'll find an example here. Here's a pretty simple example. This really only had a couple of colors in it. But here's like, if it'll come up, you end up with like all of the sorts of different striations and stuff in there. You never quite know what you're gonna get, but it quite often does with like the stuff on top and stuff. It'll do like kind of lines of different colors depending on how you pour it, that sort of thing. I really like dirty pours. In this case, we're going to be going for something kind of similar to this, but just with a better color here that's not quite as red. Again, I have the designs down for those. I just don't have the colors quite right yet. Sorry. Ooh. Sorry, my loud dragging my stool over. Okay, let me grab a stir stick from over here. So pull out a little bit of these colors. And this is kind of a brighter gold. I'm not going to use a ton of this. It's nice to have like a little bit of variation, I feel like, but I'm going to a little bit of this bright gold, very little. That's actually plenty, because this is just going to be the D4, and the D4 takes so little resin that I'll probably just put kind of a drop almost of resin in each of these, and that will be plenty mixed with the other things. All right, a little bit of this darker gold. I was always kind of like about this darker gold, but it looks so good with like these other colors here, like mixed in there. Like that's what, if I can get it, that's what like that gold there is. It just has like such a nice shimmer to it, I feel like. Like it looks kind of dark, and then it has that flash of like the brighter kind of gold color. It's nice. It's nice. If I do say so myself, and I do. let me grab a little bit of this one, and again, so it's gonna take so little. Oh, why is there little resin pieces in this cup? Ah! Let me get these out of here. It's like resin got dropped in here. Just little tiny slivers of resin. Why is that happening? Oh, the soap. That's, I just remembered. I mentioned earlier that I did soap before I did resin, and that reminded me of something. I'm thinking of doing YouTube videos for a couple different reasons, but I'm thinking that I might start trying to do some YouTube videos for like arts and crafts, video games, whatever I want to do. I was originally thinking of trying to stream more to do some video games and stuff, but I think I'm actually going to end up streaming slightly less. Not a ton, but I'm going to try. My current thought, and this isn't going to happen like super soon, my current thought is that at the moment I am streaming every Wednesday and every Saturday night. I'm thinking I'm going to try and release a video every other Saturday and then stream every other Saturday so that they would trade off. I'm going to actually like see if like filming stuff is feasible for me, because I will probably put off editing forever, which is just I don't like editing. It takes me so long to do, and I'm not good at it. So we'll see. It'll probably be a while before I get everything figured out there, but that is my current plan, is to actually cut back on the number of days that I'm streaming to be every other Saturday instead of every Saturday, so that I have time to like film and edit and all that sort of stuff. 2 YouTube videos a month, probably of like arts and crafts, maybe of some games and stuff, but part of that is just because I like watching YouTube videos while I work more than I like watching streams. That probably sounds bad because I'm streaming right now, but I like being able to like pause whatever it is I'm watching to like go do something else and then come back to it, because I'm very bad at sitting in one spot for a long period of time. Alright, I think we have all of our stuff, so let me actually bring my molds out here, just so that I have them within my grasp. But that does mean that if anybody has any ideas for something that they would be interested in seeing me film, I'm open to ideas. Any like particular games. I don't play a ton of games, but like they're fun. Or something you'd like to see me make. I'm thinking I'm gonna try and do some different resin things that I just haven't done yet. Like I got molds for like dominoes, so it might be fun to like try making those in a video. Part of it is just because it's one of the other reasons is with resin stuff and with soap and that sort of stuff, you can't see the final product until the next day. Because with resin, it takes 24 hours for it to cure. With soap, it also takes about 24 hours for it to partially cure. So I guess same with resin. So you have to wait 24 hours before I can take these out of the molds, or before I can cut the soap to see what it looks like. So with a stream, you get to hang out while I am making the things, but you don't really get to see what it looks like when it's done. Whereas if I did like a YouTube video, I could show the process and then also show how it turns out, which might be kind of nice. I don't know. Streams and YouTube videos are completely separate things, in my opinion. Like they're just completely different. But I'm thinking that I might split my time between the two a little bit and see how that goes. Okay, I have my molds. I have my pigments. I think we are ready to pour some resin. So the amount of resin I'm going to do, so this is going to be about 30, 50, and so 30 plus 20, about 50, plus, the problem is, I'd probably say that's about, or, you know, a couple of these would be that'd be about 30, so 30, 60. My next step up from 60 is 80, because these go in 10 increments of 10, and I have to do an equal amount of the two parts, so I could add, I'm adding basically 20, so basically I go in increments of 20. So I think I'm going to end up doing 80. So yeah, we might end up making some extra dice. We'll see. Might end up making some extra dice. But we're gonna do 80 milliliters of resin. Let me grab my stuff. You guys get to hear me sound like I don't know, Darth Vader, Bane. I don't actually. Here, you could tell me who I sound like, but I'm gonna be very muffled for the rest of this stream, so I'm very sorry if I'm difficult to understand. Hopefully you guys can understand me, all right? Oh, I should have done that first. Just a second here. There we go. Get that in place. Oh, all right. I get these on, and then I'll pull the resin down. I use so much resin. That thing's almost half out. Ooh, all right. So I always pour the one that's a little bit thicker first, just because it's harder to measure. Because it takes a while for it to settle, so it takes a minute for it to actually get to the right height. So if I need to take a little bit out or something like that, it's easiest if I just do this part first, so that I can actually do that. I am going to be kind of quiet for a second while I pour this, because I can't like talk and measure at the same time. So give me just a minute and I'll be right back with you. And I'm going to 80, right? 3, 6, yeah, 80. And it's going to have probably way too much resin, but that's fine, so I'm going to do a couple experiments. So I'm going to go 40 with this one. Alright, there's 40. This stuff is a mess. It's so sticky. It's very cold in this room, so it's thicker than it could be too. Alright, let's see here. That's right at 40, so we're going to go right up to 80. Drop. Alright, there we go. Yes, I do that all the time. To hear one of the things with tea that, is it black tea or green tea? Because the other thing that I do with my green tea is that I burn it on accident, because you're like not supposed to actually have boiling water for green tea, and it ends up so bitter. And that's part of the reason I'm more of a black tea person, is because I like, to be fair, I've gotten more into green tea since realizing that you're not supposed to do it with boiling water, because it's not nearly as bitter when you, English breakfast is black tea, alright.
Yeah, no, I definitely have done that where I oversteep my tea and it's just hot. At that point, it is hot leaf water, yeah. The other thing is I leave my tea for too long and it gets cold, and then it is also hot leaf water. Because the tannins build up as it cools off. Fun fact. I think it's the same with coffee too. That's why it gets more bitter as it cools. And that it, I was reading an interesting thing about how red wine is often paired with fattier meats, so like beef and stuff, because the fats bind with the tannins and make it less bitter. And that's part of the reason that they're paired together. And it made me realize that that's why I like having so much cream in my coffee. Like, I don't like coffee without cream in it, or milk or whatever. And it's probably because the fats in the cream or the milk bind with all the tannins in the coffee and make it less bitter. Because I'm not a fan of bitter things. So, yeah, I had that realization a while back. I do also, so actually, if you like milk in your tea, that might be a way to make it less bitter. Thinking about it, add a little bit of cream or milk. Hopefully, some of the bitter tannins will bind with the cream and make it less bitter. That's an idea for you. A little bit too tight back here. We're science facts with Liz. I think it's a fact. I'll just talk about it like it is, and it'll make it so that it is, right? That's how that works. Guys, I was a science major. I should know these things. It is kind of funny, like, bringing up that I am a science major in, like, weird conversations to a certain point. Because it's just like, I don't know. Guys, I was a science major with a focus in mathematics, and I can't remember basic arithmetic. Like, how did I do this? I've conned them into giving me a degree. Like, guys, my degree is confusing. To be fair, the name of my bachelor's is very, very long, and it's because I majored in general science with a primary focus in mathematics and a secondary focus in applied technology. Which, the applied technology just means I took a bunch of engineering classes. So I basically majored in general science with a focus in math and a secondary focus in engineering. I started out in engineering and then realized that I was closer to the general science with a focus in mathematics degree, so I switched because I just wanted to be done. It's kind of funny, my final math project, because I did a math independent study, because it was the only thing that I could take that would give me the correct credits, was actually, it was tracking the potential spread of COVID using the data that was available. And I really should go back and look at that. At the time, I did not think it was going to be a big deal. I'm like, okay, it's a disease. That's fine. We can figure it out. And I went and which is kind of taking the numbers. I'm like, okay, so what's the projected like rate of spread? Went and looked at like a few different places. Anyways, I didn't think it was going to be a big issue at the time, which is just kind of silly looking back on it. So I'm like, okay, like, what is this? It's like the flu, right? Yeah, it sounds really stupid looking back. Like, oh, this is a much bigger issue. But it would be interesting for me to go back and find all of those like predictions that I had and see how it lines up with what actually happened. Yeah, that whole thing with differential equations, I still don't understand how differential equations work. Differential equations are weird. It's just weird. It's like, Well, yeah. To be fair, I mean, I was looking at like I was doing my own research too. I wasn't like looking at the news necessarily. I was looking at like the World Health Organization. To be fair, at that point, I think quarantine had set in. It was when I was first starting to look at it, and I'm like, okay, the rate of spread's this. Like, and to be fair, I also was not looking at the fatalities. I wasn't taking into account any of that. I was not taking into account how severe it is or how many people died. I was just looking at rate of spread, so I wasn't really thinking about it too much. I'm like, lots of things spread, like the flu spreads and that sort of stuff. But it would be interesting, and it was kind of it's interesting also having that information about it, because it's like, oh, this is why quarantine is so important, because there's an R naught number, which is basically if one person is infected, how many other people will they infect? And so at the time, the number that I had was, I think, 2.6. That was the R naught number. That was back before quarantine and everything, which doesn't seem that high, but it's also amusingly, that's the same number as the Spanish flu or the influenza one that was in like 1918. So it's kind of interesting there. Yeah, my grandma was reading a book about the Spanish flu, or yeah. There's some weird things. Like my grandma was talking about how her father always said that there was two things that were worse than like we think they were, and one of them was the Spanish flu, and one of them was the Great Depression. I think those were the two things. And it's weird seeing some of the parallels between the 1918 influenza, Spanish flu, whatever you want to call it, and COVID. Yeah, just some of the numbers and stuff are like exactly the same and that sort of stuff. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, but yeah, no, just some of those numbers and stuff. It was, at the time I wasn't worried about it, just because I'm like, things spread. It doesn't look like it's that fast, because like okay, so COVID had an R naught number of 2.6, right? I don't remember. There's other things have like maybe like 1 point something or something like that. And then like measles is like 14. So like if you catch measles, you're gonna infect like 14 other people with it. That's how infectious it is. I'm like, this is fine. It's 2.6. I'm like, that's not gonna spread very fast. I never said I was smart. Alright, so I think let's start with these red ones. I think this is all mixed up. I've been blabbering on about differential equations, statistical models of SIR models of disease spread, and how I was kind of stupid about it and just didn't realize the severity of what was going to be happening. Okay, so we want about 20 milliliters of this one, that majority this. So I'm going to hold this up so I can see it. Alright, I might have gone a little bit over 20, but that's fine. Yeah, a little bit over 20, that's fine. And then I'm going to do about 5 of this, I think. I'm just going to take that out for now so I can measure accurately. Too important if it's super accurate, but that's okay. 5 of that, and then we're going to go for about 2.5 of this, and this is going to be red, that bright red. Of that, and 2.5 of this. Also, just as a side note, it is very complicated trying to model the spread of a disease. There are so many factors, and it gets so complicated. Alright, so there's, probably add a little bit more maybe. Let's see here, where's that good? That's a good one. Here's our dark red. It's a little bit more brighter here, I think, and then once it cures, it's going to turn a little bit more maroon. It's a very maroon red color. And then this one, we're going to do a nice bright red. Alright, nice, hopefully nice bright red. That, for some reason, looks more pink than I was expecting it to. Why does that look so pink? That's okay. It does not necessarily look like the match, but that's okay. I think I'm going to add a little, well, let's get this all mixed up. This is the white here. Add a couple drops of that. Stir stick, that'll work. Oh, I have a kitty cat scratching at the door now. A second, I can tell you which one it is by the scratches. They've stopped. I think maybe it was not Kitty. I have two cats that will really scratch at the door. I guess that could have been Fitz actually. He doesn't usually scratch the door, he usually screams. Both Fitz and Luna will usually just yell at the door to let me know their displeasure at not being allowed into the room. And then Koshi doesn't really meow all that much. She's a pretty quiet cat, but she will scratch at the door. But she usually does it kind of slow. And then Knot will scratch at the door, but she usually does it a little bit quicker. Alright, I think I'll add a little bit more of that, or is that good? That might be good, actually. I think that's enough. I think that's fine. So we've got our white, we've got our gold, got our two reds, and we've got our white alcohol ink. So let's do these. Grab my dish here for putting them in when they're all done. Alright. So the way that dirty pours work, I might actually want a different container here. Just a moment here. That's my D4. Sorry, I like having these in order just so I can keep track of where I'm at. And just go down the line. There we go. Alright, now those are in order, and then this is for any spare resin, because I usually try to add like an extra little thing. Let me grab one of these as well, if there's a little bit extra. And put something in that one. Okay, clean that up. Fresh one. Alright, grab one of those if there's any extra. I think I'm going to want to grab a different container here. Let's grab that one. Because the way that the dirty pour works is I pour and put all the different colors into the same container. So there's that white. And we're going to add a little bit of this shimmery gold white. Probably actually want more, but put the white in there. And you can see it see that shimmer in there. And I'm going to add a little bit of this. No, I actually want the bright red. And add a little bit of the bright red. So I want it to be kind of on the outside of the dark red, so that the dark red's in the center. I'm going to put a bit of that red in the middle. Oops, there's like a hair there or something. And then a little bit of this dark red in the middle of that. We're going to go for kind of a blood look with all of that white. And then I'm going to take this white alcohol ink and put a drop right on top. Actually, I guess I'm putting 2 drops, oh well. And the alcohol ink is nice, it spreads out a little bit, and it should kind of give it some like lines in there, which I kind of want because I think it'll work well with the red. And then we're going to take that and we're going to pour that in. I don't really want it ending up pink, but so I guess we'll see what happens. Hopefully these don't end up super pink. That's my only real concern here, is that they end up pink. I do want that bone white. We'll see. I might have to do something so that the red doesn't look pink. Grab some clear or something to put in between. Needed to add a little bit more of this. That's okay. Well, we're still going to do this for all of these. I did it all the same way, just so that I have it. Some more of this, the gold. Let me think about this. Could try adding a drop of clear. I am actually going to try this differently. I'm going to do a drop of the white here, and then I'm going to do a small amount of clear right here in between the white, and then I'm going to do the red on top of that, because I'm hoping that it'll make it so that the red and the white don't mix at all. The clear is a buffer in there. But we'll see. And we're going to try that. And I think it's still going to end up mixing a little bit. Well, it was a thought. And add the rest of this to the D20 because I need a little bit more in there. I'll do this to the caps. I'm going to put a little bit on the caps just because I don't want to let's see, Angry Gamer 444, have you heard what happened with GameStop? Oh, with the Reddit and all that? I heard something happen, but I haven't really followed it too much. Something about a whole bunch of Reddit people buying stock or something like that. Okay. I think it's something like that anyways. I haven't paid too much attention to it, I must admit. I try to see it 5 to 200. 5 to 200 what? I'm afraid I don't have all the context here. Investors or what? Oh, per stock. Oh. Oh, I see. Good for them, I guess. Oh wait, I forgot my drop of white. That's what I'm forgetting. Put it over on this side and see what happens there. I think that might work better. I added way too much red though, so I think what I really want is I want to add less red. I'm going to try that on the next one. I'm going to try adding even less red. I must admit, I really don't understand how stocks and everything work. I really don't. Bad. I mean, there's obviously some sort of flaw with the system if Reddit can mess people up that bad. Okay, we're going to do even less red this time, so I'm going to add just a little bit, just a drop or two. Just a little bit of red. Just a drop or two. And then a drop. It's like witchcraft. Yeah, I have no idea how it works. Drop of that red. I'm going to add this. I don't know, I keep putting the lid back on. I don't need the lid on at the moment. Put it off to the side here. I'm putting it at that end. I feel like it doesn't mix with the red as much when I put it off. Everything you learned about the economy is against your will. Yeah, pretty much. Alright, yeah, I think these might end up looking a little too pink. I'll probably end up remaking these. But that one went a little bit better. I think I was right in thinking that I need less red. I think that's what I need to do, is I need to add less red than I was. Yeah. I don't know. Oh, they depend on a company failing. Ah. So, okay. So all these people came in and backed this company basically, and it made it so that it didn't work out for them. Okay. That, and I'm gonna do what I did before, where I just add like 2 drops of red. Cause I think that's actually a better amount. And a second drop, and then we're gonna do a drop of the dark one. Oh man, I don't know anything about all this stuff. Let's drop the white. I just make dice, guys. The economy is against my will. I was actually pretty much talking about that with a friend earlier today. Because they were just like, I need to make money, but also I want to give people things for free. Pretty much it's like, dude, I get you, but still, you have to make a living. Even if it is against your will. I was like, unfortunately, you still have to make a living. I think I said something like that. It's like, yeah. I'm in a very lucky position in that I have the time to try and do something that I want to do for a living. I have the time and the resources. I'm very lucky. I want to open commissions, but I also have 0 publicity. Hey, marketing is the hard part. It's the hard part. Like, I spend a lot of time trying to manage social media. Oh, she posted some links in the chat earlier. She does all sorts of drawing and stuff, character design. Feel free to post links again, because it's all very cool. Yep. I'm going to add most of this, actually, because I don't need a lot for the D4. Okay, and again, I'm just going to add a little drop of clear. Try and differentiate between that and the red. What sort of, let's see. What sort of, I feel like I've asked this before. What are your prices for commissions? I don't know how much commissions cost. Let's see. You're all good, Angry Gamer. It's pretty funny. I've seen stuff about it. I just don't really understand it all that well. So I don't have a lot to add to the conversation. No, it's very funny, but I just don't know enough about it to add much. Yeah, I think I'm definitely going to end up remaking these. I don't think these are going to turn out quite how I want, but I'll finish them. I'll even probably send pictures to the person they're for, depending on how they look. Oh, no, that's fair. That's a good point. figure out how long it takes you to do the stuff. I mean, you have to take into account at least 60 per. That seems fair. Yeah, that seems fair. How long does it take you to make a design sheet like that? I am a bad judge of time. Like, I don't know how long it takes me to do things. I say that seems fair, but I don't actually know if that seems fair because I don't know how long it takes you to do things. And also, it's obviously you have less than a sitting, 5-6 hours at most total loss going to communicate with commissioner. That's true. Commissions are more complicated than just making things for yourself. I love doing commissions. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's really fun doing stuff like this. Who are you asking about preferring homebrew or official settings? I pretty. Angry Gamer is now following. Hello. I grew up on like homebrew stuff, so like I definitely like homebrew, but I have just kind of started to. Well, not just. Before quarantine hit, I was kind of just trying out like Curse of Strahd and stuff, and it seemed fun too. But I don't know. I have a couple of homebrew ones that I kind of want to do, and they're the ones that I'm used to. I feel like there's a lot of fun creativity that can happen with those, but they're a lot more work. All right. No, but yeah, I definitely like homebrew stuff. It feels more personal, I guess. I guess homebrew stuff just feels more personal to me, because like it was created like for the setting and stuff. I guess I also I like doing I like being able to like contribute to the setting or Center of Intelligence works more. What's Dark Sun? I'm not familiar with that. Is that a setting? I'm not familiar with the setting. I'm assuming it's a setting of some sort. If it's a pop culture thing, I must admit, I don't watch a lot of movies. I don't have the attention span for things. This is why I don't watch streams. This is why I watch YouTube videos where I can pause them. I can come back to them. That's why, actually, I do enjoy watching movies. I don't necessarily enjoy going to the theater to watch movies because, like most things, I like being able to get up and like pause and get up and go do something else, or just watch on my phone while I'm doing something else. That sort of stuff. I don't have a good attention span. Post-apocalyptic arcane magic essentially killed the world. I mean, that'd be cool. You could write it. Why not? I mean, it'd be a lot of work, but like, if you wanna see it happen, you can probably do it. Probably make it happen. There's just that white. I'm just using up the last little bit of what's in these containers. I'm going to add it to this little crystal mold here for like a keychain. This is just basically my dump mold for keychains. Like I said, when someone orders commission dice, I usually try to include like a bonus D4 and a keychain. They don't necessarily match, but they're just kind of like my dump molds for any extra resin. Yeah, magic. We got what you're saying, so it all worked out. I don't know. I'm not. Yeah, there's. I have ideas for some homebrew games. I actually wrote up a whole thing. I was talking about this earlier. I had a whole book idea that I'll probably never write about like two kingdoms that are divided by a magical wall. I actually made maps for that and stuff to do it as a D&D game, but it never really worked out. But that stuff's fun because then, like, if someone's like, hey, I want to play a character like this, you can be like, that fits into the world, let's put you over here. Or, that doesn't quite exist yet, but let's create somewhere that makes sense, or something like that. I always enjoy that sort of stuff. Middle Eastern influences. Ooh, cool. That's cool. I love some of those styles. Is that okay? I don't know. I still say my brother's the one that's really good at making cool settings for games, because he created a whole giant mansion at one point that had all sorts of different temporal stuff going on, and like paintings that you could walk in and out of and all that sort of stuff. It was so complex and very, very cool. He just needs to be a little bit more confident in his DMing, and he'd be an amazing DM. Hardest thing to implement would be silence. In what way? Just trying to like translate it to the D&D sort of thing, or let's do a drop of red. So you'd have to create a whole character class. I guess it's kind of like at one point, I should finish that I was working on. I at one point was creating I had a spreadsheet. I like spreadsheets and charts and stuff. But I had like a spreadsheet that I was working on of every character race, so that I could figure out how to create a balanced character race for D&D 5e. I was just like, ooh, that's gonna be kind of cool. Not like the dice at all, but cool. And I still have a little bit, so let's put this into some sort of jump mold. Let's just do. I don't think we're gonna have to do one of these. What was I just saying? I don't remember what I was just saying. I think this guy might be kind of interesting, actually. What was I just talking about, guys? A lot of unique races too. The spreadsheet that I had. But I had figured out kind of a point system, not like a point buy system, but like figuring out like what sort of traits were equitable to other sorts of traits. So like, obviously getting a feat is a lot bigger than like having dark vision, for example. So I had okay, cool. So there was enough for this for sure. All right, there's that. Set that off to the side. And let me put these here so they can sit for a minute. And I'm going to let these sit with the lids off for a minute. I want to let all of the air come to the surface. And move this over here so it's a little bit out of my way while I make everything else. So let's see, that was that one. This one goes here. This one's over here. This one's over here. That's the wrong thing. There's the correct thing. I'm just kind of setting these so that I can find them later. Alright. Let's move on to the green and purple commission set. So this is going to take about 20 milliliters, so I'm going to do about 10 in each. That should be working out. What? Squilky? That's fun to say. Thanks for following. Alright, so let's do about 10 of each. Let's see. Art is a lie and nothing is real. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, have we lost Jen to the void of art? I feel like it's very sad. They were never to return again. There's about 10 of that. And actually 10 is a little bit more than needed, but I'm going to probably do a little keychain of this as well, because this is another commission set. I'm not quite sure what to do for these beyond the keychain, because they're all the same kind of dice. So I'm just going to get 4 of them. Alright, there's about 10 of that. Alright, let's get these going. Want you to link? Yeah, feel free to link your work in progress. I'd love to see it. So I just want a little bit of a silver shimmer. Yep, looks like that has a little tiny bit of a silver shimmer. That's what I'm looking for. Same with this one. I don't want it to be super silver. I just want it to have a little bit of a shimmer. All right. Let's see. Your brother over psionics is a concept close to the same. What is psionics again? I forget. I feel like I should know this. I can't remember. Maybe that's something I'll have to do in my spare time, is create a new D&D class. That seems like I have time for that. Guys, there's so many things I want to do. Big brain energy. Okay, that's what I was thinking. Alright, just a second, and I will look at that, but a couple drops of purple. You see the work in progress. And this is going to look kind of blue. Ooh, I like the fur collar that goes down to like the waistband. That's cool. We're always stretching with folks in the chat. You perish for your craft. You gotta remember to well, we're taking a stretch break, so maybe that you should take a stretch break as well. Is that what I'm hearing? Stretch break for everybody. So this is gonna look very blue for now, and that's how this goes. This green hourly stretch. It's not a bad idea. I got a work time though here. Oh, yeah, that's true. We don't really have any other intelligence-based class. Although, would that fit under intelligence, or is it more of like a sorcerer type thing? I guess. Like, is it a learned thing, or is it an intuitive thing? But yes, we really should have another, like, intelligence-based class. That's true. Alright, this is, yeah. So, like I said, this looks very blue. But, this green turns very, very blue. And I've added yellow to it, but it should cure more green. I've found that 1 drop of this to 3 drops of this is about right for a good dark green. It just looks really blue until it cures. So that's teal at the moment, but it should end up green. And it does have a good little shimmer to it, which is what I wanted. And we're going to mix up our purple as well. Big brain. Alright. I have enjoyed playing an artificer, but it's definitely more steampunk, I think of. I think of an artificer as being a little bit more steampunk. Which, to be fair, you know, makes sense depending on the setting, but like, I don't know, both my brother and I have always loved steampunk stuff, so we're both very much into that. Homebring is fun because I can put tech and arcane magic at the same time and care a little for oh yeah. You mean religious orders for the color purple and think it's funny? We do have a lot of charisma casters. We also have a wisdom, to be fair, too, with the druid and the cleric. They're both wisdom. Is ranger wisdom as well? They're not really a caster, but like... Alright, these do not look like the correct colors. This one looks far too muted. This one looks far too teal, but they should turn the correct colors. Oh, a Monk uses one system too, that's what I was forgetting. Alright, so for these, actually, let me grab a couple of... No, these colors do not look correct at all. And I know that they're going to turn the correct color, but it makes me so weirded out at the moment. Okay, so I'm going to grab these. Let's see. Oh, I just stuck them to the bottom, I think. Just a second. Yes, we do have... Well, prefer we have what? 3 charisma casters? Because we have the bard, the warlock, and the sorcerer? Because they're all charisma, right? Oh, paladin. Paladin's charisma too. I forgot about them. How could I forget about the paladin? To be fair, I really like playing charisma characters, so like, I can't talk. I like talking my way out of confrontations more than I like creative solutions to things and like talking my way out of things when it comes to D&D. Alternatively, I have a paladin character she's kind of an idiot. Like, she's the one where I have written down for her, I have as her, like, a main trait, confident, and then as her flaw, overconfident. Because she will just, like, jump into anything with just a cry of, onwards! And, like, she's very much a stereotypical paladin. Focus more on debuffs than straight magic. So more of a, okay, so it's more of a support class almost. I mean, to be fair, you have kind of you can have some support stuff with both bard and cleric. Like they both have some support things, but let's see that. Bards. Yeah, here's a question for you guys, because I have an answer to this. If you guys were in a D&D setting, if you personally were in a D&D setting, what race and class would you be? Feel free to multi-class too, because, like, yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah. I have asked this before. I do remember that you would be a bard, and that makes sense with all of your writing and creating. I would also be a bard. I think I would probably multi-class into warlock though. And this is like my brother. He would be an artificer who would multi-class into druid, which seems like an odd combination, but it makes sense for him. Alright, let's put some of this on here. Swords bard. I'd probably be a lore. I'd probably be a lore bard. I know like a little bit about a lot of things, which seems fitting for a lore bard. But I am curious for everybody else's answer too, because we're bard bros. Did you make the molds myself? Yes, I did make these molds myself. I actually pulled out some new molds earlier today. Yeah, I have giant things of the silicone forum, and then I usually make new molds like every other week. I'm slowly adding to my mold collection. That sounds weird. Not like mold, but mold. Molds. Not mold. What is this silicone? Here, I can grab a bottle. I'm using. This is a smaller bottle. I'm using Mold Star series. What is this one? I'm I'm using Moldstar 15 Slow. The reason that I'm using this is that it has a long working time. Oh, hi, Misfit Maid. Hello. But it has a long working time, and the way that I get the bubbles out of my silicone is that I pour it really, really slowly, so I wanted to have as much time as possible to work with it before I get cured. Let me see here. Let's see. Bosun, Drow, Death Clerk, Sorcerer. Yeah, hate the Drow canon, but their aesthetic is immaculate. Yeah, I would agree with that. Like, their canon is stupid, but like, they look freaking cool. But the canon setting, I agree. Okay. Well, Forgotten Realms. What's the name again? Sorry. Me? What's my name? I'm Liz. Or the name of this silicone. The silicone was Moldstar 15 Slow. And different people like different things. It's not clear, obviously. Some people prefer having like a clear, like dragon skin, which I think is a little tougher too. The other reason that I actually kind of like this silicone is because it's not super hard, like it's not super stiff, but it's also not super soft. Because if you get something that's super, super stiff, it can be hard to unmold things, especially with dice where you have a small opening for a larger object. And okay. What was I saying? But if it's too soft, your molds can deform. So I don't know. I debated moving to a different one, but quite honestly, I stuck with it because of the work time. I needed. It has like a 50-minute work time, and I needed the longer work time, so that I could pour really slowly to get my bubbles out because I don't have a vacuum chamber. Let's see. Also, you two hate sunlight. I mean, fair. I like sunlight. It doesn't like me. I overheat really easily, which is just sad. I don't like being like super warm, I guess, but I like sunlight. I'm a bit like a cat, where I like being inside, laying in a sunbeam. The sun is your enemy. Ah, there you go. I'm just imagining you guys like sitting in a dark cave, like at the sun, like hissing at the sun whenever it shows its face. Yeah, of course. Yeah, well, the sun. It sounds like the sun in your game is kind of a jerk. So like, fair. But in real life, I like sunlight. Oops, I hear. Oh, I think Fitz has been sitting outside. Aw, the boy. Those colors look so wrong right now, and hopefully they will turn the correct color. I'm just imagining you doing like a diss track for the sun god in your campaign. That'd be pretty funny. Okay, let's do the blue. I don't think we need a ton of blue actually, so we're just gonna do probably 2.5 or something. There's already been some made. Fitz is outside my door again. He wants to come hang out. Alright, we don't need a ton of resin here because we're going to be taking up some of it with our objects here, and some of it is going to be clear in these molds. So I'm going to stick both my rose and my snakeskin in here because I want to make sure that no air gets trapped. And while I do that, let's make our I'm going to make sure this pushed down. I want to get all the air bubbles out of there. While we do that, let's make our blue here. And again, I don't think I'll need a lot. There's probably some made. I've never played a wizard with a familiar. I haven't played a wizard. I haven't played a lot of magic class characters. I do have plans for a warlock at some point, and I plan to go the path where they get a familiar, because I have ideas for that. I think it would be really fun to have familiar. But I have ideas for a warlock that I want to play at some point. Oh, there's some nice dark translucent blue. Oops, that's what I was forgetting. I need a little bit of gold in here. That's what I need. Clean off my tweezers here. Need like a little bit of gold in this blue. Not a lot, so let's see here. Try to grab out some individual sheets, because if I don't grab the individual sheets, it clumps up. I don't need that. Let's see if that's enough. Let's see. Oh yeah, Pact of the Chain. I feel like it depends on the character and what you want to do with them and stuff, but the Pact of the Chain made sense, I think, for either that one or Pact of the Tome made sense for the character that I was putting together. Aspar Wizard has a hairless cat named Ibrahim. Similarly super modified to be extremely timely warlock. Actually, he's drunk more alcohol in game than your own wizard. Please do not let your cats drink. Oh man, my cats try to drink my tea, and it's like, guys, you should not be having caffeine. That is not good for you. Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent here about my cats trying to steal my tea. It's like, guys, this is not good for you. You should not be drinking tea. I'm like, this is why I can't leave a mug of tea on my bedside table now. I have to carry my tea around with me when I get up from my desk. I think that's enough. It shouldn't take a lot. I don't have a lot of resin here. Certain streamer has to leave the platform. Are we talking about me because my cats are drinking caffeine, which is bad for them, or are we talking about someone else that is unrelated? Okay, let's see how these are doing. I push these down a little bit. I have a rose and I have a snakeskin in here, and I just want to get all of the bubbles out from around them. Seem to be doing pretty good. There's still some bubbles in there I can see. I'm going to press those out a little bit more. But first I'm going to add some of the blue to both of these. And this one is actually going to take less. I'm just going to put a little bit in the bottom of this one. This one's going to have a rose on top. So I don't want a ton of the blue. There should be plenty. Just enough to kind of cover the bottom in there. And then this one, I'm going to add the rest. I'm drinking cats. They're delicious. You don't drink cats? Yes, please don't give your cats alcohol or caffeine. It's not good for them. There's lots of things that are not good for your cats. Please take care of your cats. I don't want my cats drinking caffeine. They just try to steal my tea, and it's bad for them. I don't want them stealing my tea. I want them to be happy, healthy, and safe. No, soap is not... not this again. Not this again. Where's that ban button? No, no, no soap. No soap. No, I forgot there's two of you. No. Oh, no. Oh, gosh. Fine, you guys can lick soap. See if I care. Soap lickers. That's gonna be my new insult for people. I'm just gonna call them soap lickers. Y'all are foaming at the mouth. I actually want a little bit of this blue to kind of... Okay, that's fine. So, here's the D20, and what I'm going to do... So tasty. Yeah, you and my cat. If you're new here, the reason that Bosun is talking about eating soap is because my cat Fitz loves to lick bar soap. I thought it was just homemade soap for a while there, because I have made handmade soap in the past. That's what I have in my bathroom at the moment. And then I had like a not homemade bar soap, and he still was interested, just like, why is my cat eating soap? He just likes soap. soap lickers. A bunch of soap lickers in the chat. Oh yeah. But part of my vehement disagreement with this is that when I first talked about this on stream, I licked a bar of soap because I have bars of soap in here. Oh, I should list those. I have a whole bunch of honey soap. I licked a bar of soap on stream and it was terrible. It tasted terrible, guys. So I'm trying to get some of the air bubbles out of here before I put this in. I see a big one. They're hard to get out. Okay. You can see them hopefully rising to the surface there. Yeah, you can see those big air bubbles. Those are coming out of the flour. Because there's so many nooks and crannies in here for air to get trapped in. And I just want to press some of that out before putting it into the mold. Because I don't want some, I don't want big gaps to happen. I don't want the flour to float too much. Okay, I think we've got it pretty good. So let's try and pick this thing up. If I can grab it. There we go. And we're going to set this in here. Okay, there's that. What I'm going to do with both of these is I have the snakeskin in there and I have the rose in there. I think I'm going to need, I think I'm going to use this to kind of add it gently into here because I don't want to make the blue go up too much. Let's see. Have I tried any tabletop systems, any other tabletop systems? We did Pathfinder for a while. I don't remember it all that well. I grew up playing D&D though. I grew up on D&D 2nd edition. Like we played it as a family. So I've mostly done D&D. So not a ton of them. Like I said, Pathfinder for a little bit, but okay. World talents. I don't want to fill those up too much because what I want to do is I want to take this red that we were using before and I'm going to, okay, let's just use this from before. I'm going to put a drop of it on here, not too much, and I'm going to run it through here. I want some like streaks of blood red in here. I'm going to do the same sort of thing in here as well. I just want kind of those streaks of red. Okay, cool. That looks good. I don't know how deep those go. Hopefully that's deep enough. Might need to go a little bit deeper in this one. Okay. And then I'm going to fill that up with the clear, with the last little bit of clear that it might need. I would be open to trying some different systems. So let's see. Love the lore of vampire, but the community can be iffy. That's fair. I guess you gotta find a good community to do that sort of stuff with. I guess to be fair, I've always played tabletop games with like family and friends, so I've never really dipped a toe into like the rest of the sort of community and played with other people. It's always been people that I already know that I get along with and stuff. Oops, I have resin on the table. But I love like macabre things, so I'd probably enjoy that one. I assume it's a little sort of macabre since vampires. That is my aesthetic. My aesthetic is somewhere between like vampire and like 50-year-old man who's traveled the world. Changeling the Lost. What? Are you talking about changelings or? I did play a doppelganger in a game at one point. That was kind of fun. That had a specific reason for it. But changeling is really good. I haven't played one. I should play one. That'd be fun. I feel like I could relate to that. Okay, let's see if we can get one of these colors to be correct. So, I did that, I just didn't pigment. Fairies! I just love any like fae themed thing. I was, might have mentioned it on here before because I was talking to my brother about it. And a lot of the things that I like are kind of like in that uncanny valley of it's almost right, but it's not quite right. So that's why I like kind of like the eldritch horror kind of stuff. And I like fae stuff. And like anything like that where it's just like, this is almost like people, but it's not. Like it's just a little bit wrong. I eat that stuff up. Maybe I just relate to it being like, you know, diagnosed with ADHD at the age of 26. And being somewhat non-binary and all that sort of fun stuff. Be cool to make a Bloodborne homebrew. Alright. Ooh, it takes a lot of influence from Lovecraftian horror. I do like that kind of horror. I don't like a lot of horror, but I do like the otherworldly, I guess. Oh, and I need to add a little bit to these. Should have added a little bit to these. That's right there. It's getting a little bit thicker, so we're nearing, you know, we're kind of getting towards the end of our work time here, which is why I usually only work on like 3 different sets at a time. It's because it's what I usually have time to do. Which one here has a lot? We're gonna grab it from this one. I'm just gonna drop in there. Because these ones, like I said, do not need a lot. So here was my conundrum. We're going to try some things out. And these are probably going to be way too pigmented. So let's see here. Let me grab some new ones here. So first we're going to do a darker one. That's going to be fine. Let's see. The game is based around people who were stolen to work for Lovecraftian entities called the True Fae. Beating Dream, hello, thanks for following. Glad you could stop by. That sounds interesting. Oh. Wait, which? Oh, the work changed them from human to fae. That's cool. Well, my brother and I have talked about an idea for a podcast, like a narrative podcast that involves the fae. I really want to like work on that, but also he's the better writer than I am. I can come up with ideas. I'm not good at like organizing them, so I have to convince him to come work on that. I'm still working on that. Still working on him, convincing him to help with that. The reason I'm just putting a little bit on here and then tapping this down is I just want the barest amount of color in these. I don't want them to be super dark. So I'm trying to have a little bit of it soak into the wood here and a little bit, you know, not end up in the cup here. But let's mix these up, and these are all going to be fairly, you know, standard bright colors. Let's just grab one over here for this one. So obviously that's just orange right there. So we have our orange, and then this one we're gonna add a drop of purple because we're trying to get a little bit more muted, trying to get more of a honey color. And you can see it looks very dark. And there's a little bit more of a honey color. It might be, this one might end up being what I use for, just looks a little bit red, but I'm not going to add green because that seems like a bad idea. don't know. It's a little bit too red. Might be a little bit too red. I'm gonna think on that. And then I'm gonna add a drop to here, and that should go down, but also soak into the wood. I don't want that much though. That might look purple. I might need to add some more orange. The orange didn't go down. Let's see. The game essentially starts when you escape from them. The powers they end up using are drawn from emotions. Which system is this? Is this the wait, which oh, Changeling the Lost. Oh, okay. That does sound really cool though. I haven't heard of it. Maybe I'll just go a little bit more orange almost. Maybe I'll just go more orange. It's still kind of dark though. Well, let's try these other ones. That's a little more orange. Problem is that once I add some of this other color to, like, to make it like muted a little bit, it also makes it darker. Let me just touch that there. Add a little tiny bit of the purple. Add a little tiny bit at a time. I don't want it to get too dark or too muted. This one might be a contender actually. It's definitely lighter, which is what I'm going for. It's not very honey colored, but I feel like it might still work. Okay. Its time works differently in the realm they worked in, hence the lost title, as they have to find some sort of purpose for themselves. Is this like, is there a certain storyline, or is there then like homebrew within this setting? So it sounds interesting. Alright, let's add some more purple. I think we really want more of the orange. The yellow this is a good yellow, but it's not really like honey colored. Honey is more of an orange color than a yellow color. Maybe mixing that with that though, actually. Should I do that? I'm gonna mix these colors. It's probably ill-advised, but I'm gonna mix them. There's a cat hair in there. Where's my things? Let me get that cat hair. Oh no, wait, nope, never mind, it's a stripe of purple. It's not cat hair. For once, it's not cat hair. It's a miracle. Alright, let's see. No, I'm just sorry. I believe there are source books, but you've always used some homebrew. No, this sounds like a really cool game. Like I said, I love anything that has to do with like the Fae. Like that stuff's just all really cool. Ooh, actually, you know, this yellow orange, like a slightly muted yellow orange, might be the right color. I don't know if it's super honey colored. Here, I'll show you in just a second. But it looks a little bit more maybe honey colored on your screen. It's almost more yellow on your screen. But that might be the way to go. I think this might be the color. I think this is the color. Let's do it. It's lighter, which was the main thing. Let me make sure that I have all of this yellow in here, because I need to have enough for the D6. I'm hoping I have enough for the D6. Oh, there is actually cat hair in here now. Just in a second. There we go. Probably because I keep putting my thing down on the table. I'm always excited to hear what people are excited about, to be fair. I don't always know enough about them, but let's see. Oh yeah, no, go ahead. I'm interested in hearing more about this gaming system. Does it use the same like 7 polyhedral dice like D&D does, or does it have a different sort of system for like skill checks and stuff? Okay, that's good. I'm gonna put a little bit of gold foil in here as well. I should put the gold foil in before because I didn't think about it. I might put a drop of the orange, the darker orange in here too. I don't know. Completely different system, but it still uses dice rolls. All right. I feel like a lot of games use dice rolls. They don't always use the same dice. Like obviously, I'm making a set of fate dice, which is the ones with the pluses and the minuses on them. That's these ones over here that are hidden a little bit. Oh, I just realized that it's very hard to read the chat because I have my dark dice thing over there. Okay, there. Now it should be a little bit easier to read the chat. Hopefully. Yeah. Anyways, completely different system but uses the same dice rolls. Still uses dice rolls. But no, I feel like a lot of games use dice just because it's useful to have a certain element of chance, so that you know people can't just say I do this thing. You have to actually like try and do it. But, if you're familiar with how Vampire the Masquerade is, I'm not. I don't know how it works either. Let's add a little bit of this orange. I'm gonna add just a small amount of this darker orange. I feel like that'll be nice. Maybe even a little bit more. Just a little bit darker, but yeah, I think that's a good color. Huh, okay, I'm excited about that. Because let's do this D6. Hopefully I have enough resin here. It's gonna be a close call. I might not, but we'll see. I might have to add a little bit more of, but I have my fingers crossed. Yeah, that's kind of what I was expecting to a certain extent. Let's scrape this thing out though. It's only got half of what I needed. Okay. More cat hair. Stop that. Get out of there. Excuse me, sir. Please get out. There we go. Let's see. I'll have to look it up later. Yeah, I'm not familiar with how the like I said, I've mostly just played D&D and I did like Pathfinder at one point. Really haven't done a lot of other gaming systems. Not that I'm averse to other gaming systems. I've just always played with groups that have played like D&D and stuff. Let's see. Changing societies formed to help defend themselves from the true Fae who want their servants back. So we did this. Oh, there's already a little bit of yellow in here. I forgot. Let's see. Oh, okay. The major ones are based on the seasons. That makes sense for Fae stuff. I feel like there's a certain amount of equating like equating the Fae and nature, so like that makes sense to me. gonna fake this color again, hopefully. What's the other color that I had in here? Oh, the orange. I feel like I faked that pretty okay. Alright. Come on, go back in, go back in. Alright, close enough. Setting actually has other supernatural creatures in it, such as vampires and werewolves. That's cool. Maybe not quite the same, but what we're going to do is we're going to scrape out the clear one again. Let's see if I can get any last little bit of clear to add to this, and we're going to mix that in. I'm very, very close. Trying to correct them out. So close. I didn't want to add this part because there's a little bit of too much purple, I think, but it's okay. Just slightly the wrong amount. Just mixing it up a little bit. And it's a little bit cloudy at the moment, but part of that's just because, like, there's so many bubbles in here from all my mixing. And I will mix out some of the bubbles in here. Or not mix out, but I will get rid of some of the bubbles because I do have a pressure pot that this is going to go into. So I'll try and pop as many bubbles off the surface as I can, and then it will go into a pressure pot, which should hopefully help with some of, well, it'll compress all of the air bubbles in here. So if they're really small, it'll compress them so that they're so small that you can't see them. But if they're big, that's still an issue. Alright, we're going to add another dollop of this dark orange because I need enough to go in here. I want it to dome just slightly. Maybe just a little tiny bit more. I'm so close. I have miscalculated. Okay, that might be enough. Just a second. I will get back to reading all the chat in just a moment. Well, after I'm done trying to scrape out the inside of this, so I have just enough. Okay, I think we might be okay. We're gonna let all the bubbles pop in there, but all right. Let's see. There are other books for other ones. The horror aspect of the book is what I personally like about the setting as a whole, especially with how inhuman the true Fae are. I wish to be a spider abomination. Are we talking in real life here, Wilson? Any Starfinder? Is that a different setting, or? Oh, did I? Oh, I did. Okay, excellent. Okay, just a second here. So here's that dark gold color. I'm so close to the end of this work time. It's very, very gummy now. I can feel it's very, very, like, it's like thicker than it used to be, which means that I'm almost to that point of needing to get these into the pressure pot. see, how long has this stream been? Oh, almost 3 hours, okay. Alright, let's see here. A little bit of this yellow, not very much here, so. And then we want a little, like a drop of this white. I was stretched just a moment. I need to get these all done. Like I said, I'm nearing the end of my work time, so I'm in a little bit of a crunch, and then I will stretch. That's a little bit probably too liquidy. It'll be okay, but I added probably too much of the pigment. Hopefully it'll be okay. I think it'll be okay. I'm worried that that's going to be too red, so let's add a drop of yellow to this as well. This is I'm probably gonna mess it up with this. This is how it always goes. I was like, that's not quite right. So I add a little bit of something else that messes up. Oh, it worked actually. I think that made it more orange, which is what I wanted. Cool, alright. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this orange and I'm gonna put all of the other colors in here as well. So I'm gonna do that dark gold. I just want to put all of these into the same container. As soon as I finish this though, we'll be good to go. I do like that dark gold color. I should use this dark gold color more often because it's, like I said before, it's kind of a like brownish gold, and then if you have the light shine on it, it has like a kind of flash of like a brighter gold color, which is just kind of nice. It works really well in this context where I have kind of some lighter and some darker colors. Yeah, go ahead. Feel free to ramble about whichever. I haven't played that one either, but it's another one that I'd be interested in trying out maybe at some point. Because again, I like vampires. They fit my aesthetic. Were you here when I was showing off the rat skull that I found in an owl pellet? I feel like that describes my aesthetic to a certain extent. Me being excited about a rat skull that I found. Oh, you were not. I'll have to show that off again in just a moment. Yeah, I had an owl pellet sitting around and I wanted some small bones for a commission set. The one that has the snake skin and the rose in it, actually. So I was taking apart the owl pellet and it just happened to have like a complete rat. I think it's a rat, probably. It looks like some sort of small rodent. But like a complete rat skull in it, and I'm like, seriously, this is awesome. So that I'm saving that one, but it's a little bit brighter than I was hoping for, but it might still look a little bit red. I guess we'll see. Right. And like we did with the red and white ones before, we're gonna do dirty pour where we have everything in the same cup, and we just pour it in. I think it still might look a little bit too red, but I think that's just because it's how the honey looks. Like the honey is just kind of a reddish color. I don't know. We'll see. I might like this one a little bit better. I don't know. It's gonna be a little bit more orange. Oh gosh, it's so thick. It's taking forever for it to come out. Oh, you know what I might do? Maybe I'll add some of this orange. I think I'll add some of this orange. I'm just gonna add some of this plain old orange. That's definitely not red. Yeah, I'll show that off in a minute, but feel free to ramble about Vampire the Masquerade. We are a pro rambling chat, if you couldn't tell by my incessant nattering. Just a second here. And I hear my cat outside again. Still out there being sad that he's not in here with me, which is very sweet, but It's not coming in with the resin fumes. Oh, that's cool. I don't know much about the system, so okay, so it focuses on the politics of the vampire society and it doesn't just focus on Europe and America. Cool. I love cultural stuff. My brother and I were talking in the car the other day, because he really likes cooking. I'm not a huge fan of cooking. I just don't have the patience for it. And he was talking about how if he was going to go traveling, he'd love to try all sorts of like different fruits and that sort of stuff. And I was talking about how I'd be more interested in trying different dishes. I mentioned that it really kind of highlighted the difference in what we are interested in, because he's interested in cooking, so he wants to try the ingredients for things so that he can add different flavors to his repertoire to a certain extent. And I'm interested in more in like culture, so I'd want to understand the different like flavor profiles of the culture and why they're used and stuff. So it's like, this makes sense for what we would be interested in doing food-wise if we went traveling, because we focus on different things. So that's cool. I'm always interested in like cultural differences and stuff. There's certain things where it's just like, yeah, I mean, from an outsider perspective, that's really weird that Americans do that. Even from an insider perspective, it's a little weird, but you don't think about it. And there's certain things that, from like an outsider perspective, I'm like, it's weird that they do that, but also that's a cultural thing, and I know that. I realize that it's like I have cultural prejudices about certain things, like eating bugs. I was talking about this with my family the other day, because I recommended cricket flour to my grandma, who can't do regular flour because she's diabetic and it spikes her blood sugar. And so she was trying to figure out some flours that she could use that maybe wouldn't as much. And I recommended cricket flour, which is made out of ground up crickets, and it's very good for you, high in protein, lots of different things. And my family was just like, crickets, really? And I'm like, I mean, yeah, it's good for you. It's good for you, like, why not? It's very much a cultural thing that, cricket flour, yeah. It's very much a cultural thing that we don't eat bugs. Like, they're good for you, high in protein, all that sort of stuff. Let's see. It's one of the most grim settings you know of too. I don't know if I don't know if I want that, to be fair. Like, I like the macabre, but I'm not like a sad, grim person. I do like a certain amount of like horror and that sort of stuff, but actually I'm not a big fan of horror, but I'm atmospheric horror I like, but like jump scares and that sort of stuff I do not like. As in rivaling for Warhammer 40k god. So like, yeah. So maybe I wouldn't be as interested in it. I'm not a super like grimdark kind of person. I like clouds too much. I like happy things. I do love a good like bittersweet ending or of something where I like when things are like perfectly sad. Like there's certain like songs and movies and stuff where something is just so sad that it makes me happy. If that, I mean, that makes no sense. But like if something is just so well done that it makes me feel genuine emotion about it, it makes me really happy, even if the genuine emotion that it's made me feel is sad. Like, I love something that's just like so perfectly done that it's moving. Okay, I'm just trying to clean up my containers here. This is just a little D4 mold. I use them as dump molds, and then if people order dice, I give them like a little bonus D4. Yeah. You defeated the art. Oh, what did you make? Have you've finished already, or? Yeah. I'd more suited to change. Yeah, I think so. From what you're talking about, that setting sounds more fitting for me to a certain extent. Oh no, you designed. Okay, give me just a second here. I'm almost done, and then I can click on links. Maybe. Okay, cool. I look forward to seeing it. Oh, why did I take my gloves off? I don't need those off yet. I still need those on. Okay. So, what I've got here is all my stuff. I am going to spray this all with some rubbing alcohol. A lot of people will use like a flame or something to pop all the bubbles on top. I use rubbing alcohol because it breaks the surface tension. Oops! Oh, that's interesting. That hasn't happened before. Oh my! Well, okay, we're good. Just a second here. Are you asking about my Tumblr, Bosun? Let's see, but let's see. Maybe to explain the setting. Well, let me click on the link. Ooh, cool. I like the keys on the belt. That's cool. Are they wearing pants? Or do they have like are they just doing a tunic? I don't mean that in the, oh, you're drawing a naked person way that people always do when you're like have a work in progress. That was an actual design question. Oh, is this person going to be wearing pants? No. Fair. I have a business Tumblr, Bosun, or a personal Tumblr, which I don't really care if you guys find my personal Tumblr. I think it's is it dashes? It's with both my hearts with dashes. I made the username ages ago, back when I was into Doctor Who. Like, I have not changed my username at all since I made my Tumblr years ago. The keys are holy symbols. Oh, cool! That's a cool design element. Are they like a paladin, or is it just like a character thing that they're religious, or? Yay, Pally! All of this has fallen off. Okay. So let's make sure that all the bubbles are popped. I think we're pretty good on that front. Actually, it looks like the bubbles are pretty much popped. Let's put some lids on and put these in the pressure pot. Okay, I just want to make sure that this is on completely. I don't want that to be too pushed on. Alright. What's your settings? Goddess of Secrets, Selfie. Oh, okay. Was that, you had like, was it like 3 moon goddesses or something that were all girlfriends? I think I'm remembering incorrectly. But was it one of them? I feel like there was one that was named Selfie that you talked about before. I do not remember very well. Curse my terrible... Yeah, there's 3. Ultheria of Memory, Selfie of Secrets, Morena of Opulence. Ah, okay. I was right. I remembered correctly. I'm so glad that I can remember your lore, but I can't remember, I don't know, like my own phone number half the time. I just want to make sure that these lids are on. I'm not going to press them down. I just want to make sure that they are seated in the correct spot so that my numbers and everything are lined up. They should go down a little bit on their own. Hopefully there's enough. I'm kind of, like I said, I'm pressing down on the sides a little bit to make sure that it's seated in the correct spot, but I don't want to displace all of the resin in there. I don't know that I'm going to like this color. I think it ended up darker than I wanted again. Or a little bit more yellow. We'll find out, I guess. But I want to make sure everything lines up there so it's on the right spot. I do think maybe the D4 will have turned out though, so that's a good thing. As long as I don't end up with any big air bubbles or anything, I think this one might be good. This one I will actually push down just because of the way that this mold works. It's a little bit different, and I have to actually push it down to get it into place, otherwise it doesn't really work well. Okay. And then let's try these red ones. I don't think that these will turn out how I want, unfortunately, but it was worth a try. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe they will. Maybe I'll be proved wrong. Let's see. Talking about the Course of Changeling? Yeah, go for it. I might change my single emote. At the moment it's a picture of my face looking derpy because it was requested. I might change it to just like lore in big letters. That seems to be where we always end up, which I'm a-okay with. I'm always excited about like lore of things. But like lore exclamation mark I think might be a good emote that's fitting for things. Maybe I'll work on that at some point. I do this every time. Okay. That's this one. Make sure you're in the right spot. And this one. But yes, please feel free to just ramble in the chat. Like I'm always interested to hear what people are excited about or interested in. Or lore. Oh, let's see. All the different courts are based off a specific emotion. I thought you said they were. Oh no, the different changeling sects are based off the seasons. Okay. And the changelings belong to that court. Draw power from that emotion. Oh, cool. How many different courts are there? I'm assuming it's not like the Seelie and the Unseelie, like traditional. I don't even know where that comes from, actually. It's really hard to find like Fae lore. I feel like it's extra blue here. There's extra blue in something. Like a little blue crystal or something. But it's hard to like. I feel like it varies so much from like culture to culture and all that sort of stuff, and there's some overlap between things. I don't know. I've had trouble finding like what are like some like I don't know. I've had trouble researching information about the Fae as it pertains to like how they operate and stuff. Because like obviously I understand that they operate in a slightly different moral code and that sort of stuff. I haven't found like an example of it. Okay. A lot of smaller ones, the biggest ones are the seasonal courts. Oh, okay, okay. Okay, I'm gonna have to step away for a second here. I'll tilt you over so you can see what I'm doing. I'm gonna fill up the pressure pot with some air. Let me put these in. I will be right back. Feel free to type stuff and I'll read it when I get back. But I gotta do this first before this stuff gets cured. want to make sure that I hand tighten these as much as possible so that air doesn't leak out. I usually try to do it fairly evenly across so that you don't end up with like one side pushed down more than the other. Usually just hand tightened as far as possible. Good enough. Okay. Let me just move it. Pressurize this. You can see my messy craft room over here. You can also see my giant containers of mold making materials. That's one of the halves of the silicone. Alright, let's see here. What do we... Let me just... I'll cut over to here. Let's see. There are a lot of small... Okay, each chord has an associated emotion, like winter and sorrow. Your favorite chord is probably the autumn chord, which is associated with fear. Ooh. This really does sound like a cool setting. I am wrapping up for the night. This does sound like a really cool setting. Like, I'll have to look into this because it sounds like a really cool setting, and now I want to play in it. But remember to stretch. Oh right, I have to stretch. I did just want to remind people. I will be streaming on Saturday. I stream every Wednesday and Saturday. I am looking at cutting it down to just streaming every other Saturday, and then trying to do like a YouTube video the other Saturday. So like doing YouTube video every other Saturday and then streaming every other Saturday. But you don't have that to worry about for a while now. I'm gonna try making some videos and see how it works out. But figured I'd give you a heads up. But yes, I will be streaming this Saturday. Not quite sure what I'm gonna be working on yet. Might be more resin stuff. I have a lot of things to make resin wise. So might be more dice. Might do some embroidery, might do some painting, but hopefully you guys can come hang out then. It'll be same time, same place. But thanks for stopping by, everybody, and I hope to see you guys soon.